Redstone machines can be used to do a lot of things, from simple sugarcane farms to building actual computers in Minecraft. One thing is common between all of them, though, in one way or another, and that would be redstone dust. As the backbone of many things, it is important to know how this dust works, so I've put together a little informational video to explain things a little. When gathering redstone, you have a few options on how to get your hands on the stuff. The easiest way to do it without much setup is probably just going mining for it, because you can collect redstone dust from at redstone ore underground, which generates more commonly the farther down you go. If you're feeling a little more rich, you can also buy it off of cleric villagers with the trade of 1 emerald for 2 dust. It's a novice level trade, meaning you can get it immediately upon the villager taking the job, and it's also a guaranteed trade, so you'll see it every time. You can also turn to the witch to give you redstone. They're guaranteed to drop 4 to 8 redstone when defeated, with the max going up by 1 for each level of looting you have on your weapon. Making a witch farm is probably the best way to get large amounts of redstone, just because you can sit there and let witches perish. Instead of using mobs or the underground, you can also count on structures to give you redstone to some extent. Dungeons, mineshafts, strongholds, villages, and woodland mansions all have the chance to have redstone dust contained with any chests they generate. Although villages do require one specific building in desert villages specifically, and woodland mansions are a bit funky because they have some chests that have predetermined loot, so you can only get them from the general loot chests that spawn in. Additionally, jungle temples and ancient cities both generate with redstone as a part of their structure, with woodland mansions and trial chambers having a chance to have some. I can't say I would recommend using these as your primary source of redstone, as mansions only generate 5 pieces of dust in one possible room. Even worse, trial chambers generate a single dust in a single possible room that feels very rare to see. In any case, it is an option, just not a very good one. With the grabbing out of the way, though, we can move on to how the stuff actually works. Redstone dust can be placed next to other pieces of dust to form a line, or a wire. This wire can be powered at any place on the wire, whether it's the ends or in the middle somewhere. A piece of dust can be powered to 15 different power levels, as well as its normal unpowered state. This power level is carried along to dust farther along the wire, with the strength going down by 1 for each block the signal travels. This dust is also able to exist on its own, though. When not part of a wire, you can choose between 2 different types of behavior for it, one where it points to all of its neighbors, and one where it points to none of its neighbors. These 2 forms can be swapped between with a right click. Redstone is able to weakly power any block it's pointing at, as well as any block it's sitting on. It does not interact with blocks beside it unless it is pointing to them. When I say it weakly powers blocks, I mean it can activate any devices next to that block, but it won't power redstone adjacent to that block, like repeaters would, for example. Redstone wires are able to travel up the side of a block, but only if another piece of dust is on top of that block. Wires are only able to move up 1 block at a time, so you have to use a staircase to get a wire to travel any higher. These connections are able to be cut by conductive blocks placed above the lower dust, so positioning of your wires should be considered carefully. Somewhat similarly, redstone signals are not able to travel down the side of a non-conductive block, like glass. The dust is still visually connects, and the signal can travel upwards just fine, but it won't be able to go down. Dust doesn't connect to most blocks beside them, instead only connecting to a select few. Notably, it does not automatically point towards most things that receive power, meaning you need to be conscious of how your wires are oriented to make sure anything you want power is actually being powered. Powering redstone machinery is not the only use for redstone dust, though. While it is the main use, there are a couple others, so I'm just going to run through those quick before finishing out. Redstone dust is used in the crafting recipes for many redstone devices, such as pistons or droppers. It can also be used in a brewing stand to extend a potion's effect and make it last longer. Finally, it can be used with smithing templates to add red trims to your armor. And that should be just about all there is to know about redstone dust. I know I focused heavily on it acting as a wire here, but it does connect to all neighboring redstone, so you can just like make sheets of it. It still follows all the same logic as a wire, though, so I didn't think it was too important to focus on. Otherwise, if I missed anything or got anything wrong, make sure to let me know in the comments. I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll see you next time.